Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Today, exactly 1 year after the murder of George Floyd, on the streets, urgency over police reform.
Has enough changed?
No, I don't think enough has changed.
Can you believe it's been a year?
It's been a whirlwind.
For Tara Brown and Sharita Tate, the loss of their cousin is still fresh.
Our hearts are still broken because we'll never have him again to be able to hug us or to talk to us. But we're optimistic that some things have changed as a result of his death.
Among those changes, a murder conviction for the former officer who knelt on Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes. But
we haven't had meaningful police reform in 57 years in the federal government. And so this is our opportunity.
still, since Floyd's murder, there have been changes on a smaller scale. At least 3,000 policing-related bills have been introduced in state legislatures. More than 30 states have enacted new police oversight and reform laws. For some, not enough.
What has changed in America?
Nothing. Nothing has changed.
We sat down with three women who now share an unwanted bond. George Floyd's younger sister, Bridget.
They have got our hopes up on several occasions about what they were going to do, and we have yet to see anything happen.
Alisa Charles Finley is the sister of Botham John, who died in 2018 when a white Dallas police officer mistakenly entered his apartment and shot him. She was convicted of murder.
Has Congress moved quickly enough on police reform?
No.
Is that a broken promise to you?
Of course it is.
Gwen Carr is the mother of Eric Garner, who died in 2014 in New York City following a police chokehold. That officer was not charged.
I would like the police officers to stop making more members of this club. This is a club that no one wants to be a part of. We live every day with this pain.
Oh, my God. So it's 1 year, and we were supposed to have police reform. Hello, everybody. Hello. We were supposed to have police reform by today, and, of course, stalled in the Senate. You know, the George Floyd Accountability and Policing Act, whatever they're calling it, passed the House twice. You know that. And it stalled in the Senate, which is going to be the epitaph of Mitch McConnell. You understand? It's like Jimmy wants on his grave, he loved butter. And I will do that for my ex-husband. I will make sure that's what his... But for Mitch McConnell, it has to say, stalled in the Senate, impediment to progress, and the years of his non-service to this nation. I mean, it's just so unbelievable. So here you have the 1 year anniversary. I hate calling it an anniversary. It's a commemoration of the murder of George Floyd. And thank God for a young girl named Darnella Frazier, who had the gumption, the temerity, the bravery to stand on the sidewalk with her cell phone camera and document the murder while Derek Chauvin looked audaciously and with total contempt straight to camera while he was killing a man for over 9 minutes, 9 minutes and 29 seconds, right? And now, thanks to the Associated Press, yes, journalists, thanks to the Associated Press, Ronald Green's murder, which happened 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I know it's hard to keep up with all the dead black men, unarmed, right? 1 year ago, George Floyd, 2 years ago, Ronald Green, but thanks to the journalists at the Associated Press, we now have body cam footage from those 6 police officers who murdered Ronald Green. And so today, the Louisiana State Police are saying that the troopers that at least 2 of them, we know one of them, Hollingsworth, he suddenly was told that he was going to be exposed, and somehow that same day that he heard he might be fired, he got himself into a 1-car collision and died. So he died. So that leaves 5 officers. 2 of them, according to the Louisiana State Police, are going to be fired by the Louisiana State Police Department. This is coming from 2 sources with knowledge inside the investigation into Ronald Green's death, which didn't begin for 464 days after Ronald Green was murdered by these Louisiana State troopers, right? But I have to tell you that CNN is reporting that they had heard also that the 2 firings were going to happen last week. And for some strange reason, they did not happen. And nobody in the Louisiana State Police Department will elaborate on why they weren't fired. So now, a week after we've been able to see the murder of Ronald Green on the body cam of the police officers who murdered him, that was made public by the Associated Press, we're finding out that the family had filed a wrongful death suit because when the autopsy was, when the hospital received the body, they were told in the police report that Ronald Green had gone through the windshield of his car, and this is how he died. And it made no sense to them because none of his wounds were consistent with going through the windshield of a car. In fact, he had taser prongs lodged in him. And so they wrote on the report, this does not add up. And his family was able to get that report, and they were able to file a wrongful death suit. That was on May 6th of 2020. And in the wrongful death suit, they allege that that Ronald Green was brutalized by Louisiana State Police and Union Parish deputy officers, which caused his death. Okay? And the body cam footage that we saw was some of the officers who responded's body cam footage, because the senior officer, Lieutenant Clary, he was the senior officer who came out to the scene. Remember, they had to call a supervisor. He didn't report that he had body camera footage, even though he was required to submit it to the district attorney, John Belton, according to a spokesperson for the Louisiana State Police Department. He just didn't turn it over. He neglected to, report that he had body cam footage. Now, he was not part of the initial, he was the supervisor that was called because we learned through the George Floyd trial that when you use maximum restraint techniques, which they used on Ronald Green, not only was he handcuffed behind his back and laid prone on the ground, but he was also shackled by his ankles. And then the police officers decided, won't it be fun to drag him by his ankles while he's shackled? That would be fun. And then we also heard, recorded footage of a police officer saying that he beat the crap out of Ronald Green so bad that he was spitting blood, and that all of a sudden he just went limp. And so they decided to file the official police report and say he died by going through his own windshield. So internal reviews are currently going on to determine why those videos were not identified during the original criminal investigation, Captain Nick Manal said. So what has changed in the year? Well, we got a little sliver, a glimpse into what justice is supposed to actually look like, sound like, smell like in a courtroom, right? We got a little tiny glimpse. But you have to remember that only 1.1% of police officers will ever go on trial for, let's say, an unarmed man turning up dead after their interaction with that unarmed man. 1.1% of police. So obviously we need the George Floyd Policing Act to be passed. We haven't passed police reform in this here country in 57 years. Now, the uber right wing, the crazies out there who just make crap up as they go along, they're going to tell you that somehow people who talk about police reform, who are, interested in seeing what's on those body cams, who actually worked really hard to get those body cams to be on police officers, are against police.